Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Small Business Interview. I have with me Chef Ray Serrano. He's the owner and founder of the Pokeman and Pokeman Cutlery. Thanks, Chef Ray, for joining us today.
Thank you, Fox.
So why don't you tell us the story behind the Pokeman and how did it all start?
Well, I've always been intrigued by being a chef since I was younger, and I took myself to culinary school back in 2000. And when I finished culinary school 2001, I got shipped out to Hawaii to do my internship. So I ended up working at Duke's Canoe Club in Waikiki, and I worked there for several years. But in the first beginning of my season there, they threw me in the poke station for a little bit as a punishment. But I didn't take it as punishment. I took it as a learning stage. And I worked my way up all the way to being a chef at the restaurant. And then I traveled from others. I went to other restaurants and worked myself to being a banquet chef, executive chef, and all different aspects besides fast food, hotels, banquets, and catering. Oops, I don't know what happened. Something happened. And so I moved back to California and became a chef out here and wasn't making any money. So I became an electrician for about 7 to 8 years. I went to the highest electrician I can be, working in a refinery, doing instrumentation and all that stuff. And I was making over 100K, but I was not happy whatsoever. And I decided when I turned 40 that no matter what I'm doing, I'm going to quit my job as an electrician and go start my own business and go back to being what I love to do best, is cooking. So the day I turned 40, I put in my 2 weeks notice at the refinery, and everybody thought I was crazy. Everybody said, nobody leaves this. Like, you're like a lifer here. I said, no, I'm not happy. I have to make a move. I have to make a change. I had no money, piled up. I just did it. And that's where I'm at now. It's been 5 years. So my business has been 5 years now. So, but my first thing I did was open up a catering company. It was called The Intimate Chef. So what I would do is I would do like a fine course, 6, 7 course dinners for people at their own homes. I would teach them and how to make certain foods and this and that. And, a lot of my food just really, stood out, but the poke just stood out the most. It just brought back the memories of people being in Hawaii. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, everything's so good, but this poke just brought me back to my honeymoon in Maui, or it brought back to every time I go to Hawaii every year, I go to Foodland, and this is like the closest poke I can ever get. So it just dawned on me, I said, you know what? I'm just going to start making poke, because it was the going trend, but for me, I didn't take it as a trend. Everybody took it as a trend, as a business trend. Oh, I'm going to open a poke shop. Businessmen, I'm going to open a poke shop. Not me. I have years of experience making poke, making it the real traditional Hawaiian style. And so one of these days, one day, one of my friends, he just said, dude, you're like the poke man. And when he said that, that name just kind of stuck to me, And ever since then, I've been the Pokemon. So
That's awesome. Yeah, it is a very trendy thing, and a lot of the poke we get may not even be authentic. I heard that if you use salmon, it's not authentic poke, but it's cool. It's trendy. And yeah, a lot of people are just in it for the business. If you want authentic poke though, and you know what you're doing, that's something special. So are you guys still in business? Are you still active? And what effect is COVID-19 having on your business?
the only thing that affected my business is that, because I have a booth at the Oracle Park for every Giants game, and it closed that down. But my main bread and butter is my food truck. I'm still running my food truck. I'm running it 2-3 times a week. But because I'm running it that short of a time, and not a lot of food trucks out there are still running, I'm actually doing pretty well for myself. with during this COVID-19.
Yeah, you've been keeping pretty busy, right? Like you're helping the frontliners. Um,
Yes, I've been involved. Yeah, I've been involved helping the essentials out. I've been to several jails in Redwood City, and I fed all the correctional officers. And it's definitely not free on my part, because tuna and all that's just expensive. But I do discount them to where it's like I'm not making too big of a profit, but it's okay, because who is? I mean, who is nowadays? Who cares nowadays about that? Everybody, I just care about spreading the aloha, through my food to the essentials, because a lot of these people don't have time to eat, don't have time to work. I mean, or they just they just don't have time.
yeah, or they just
And
go for really bad, Pop Tarts or something. Like,
yes, they're tired of their institutional food. So like yesterday, we went to General Hospital, served 300 plates to the nurses and doctors, and they love it. They love it. It was funded by Off the Grid. Off the Grid got funding from donations, so it's a win-win situation. Doctors, nurses, essentials got they got free food, and us food truckers got paid through donations. So it was great.
yeah, you mentioned off the grid center. Is that those 2 to 3 days a week? Is that where you are?
Yes, well, I'll actually only one day a week. I run with Off the Grid on Tuesdays in Seremani Mall. It's from 5 to 8 p.m. Because there's only a few food truck events that are going on right now because of all this coronavirus. San Francisco is pretty much shut down. We're running it here in the peninsula, San Mateo County, which is only in Daly City, Seremani. And the other days, me and my other partners, we do a huli huli chicken, which is another popular traditional Hawaiian you know trend that's only in Hawaii, that they don't have out here yet, and it's called Island Huli. And so we're doing Aloha Fridays over here in South San Francisco at a shop called Gundy's Tires. The reason why we're doing it there is because they're closed right now, but they have a big lot, so why not take advantage of the lot? And they're letting us.
That's cool. Yeah. Let's see. Let me see if I could pull up the off the grid site in case you guys want to check it out. It's quite an interesting concept where they do have food truck gatherings. And look, here you are, right here, the Pokemon. um, so yeah, so hopefully that picks up again. Here's a map of it. And it's great to hear that you're keeping busy and you're helping those people up there, and you're giving back to the community and providing people with good food, nutritious food as well. Are you also delivering like
So during
DoorDash,
so
Uber
yeah,
Eats?
so during my food truck events, I do DoorDash, uh, DoorDash, Grubhub, and Uber Eats. So it's during those times where I am operating, I am also accepting those three, and it's pretty good too. It's about 30% of my revenues coming from those delivery options for the people that don't want to come out. And if when people do want to come out, we set lines, we set tape for 6 foot apart. We go by the rules: no mask, no service. Me and my staff are always fully masked, gloves. We have hand wash station inside our food truck. So we're well prepared for everything that's going on right now.
Wow, yeah, it's that's kind of like the new norm now, right? So just like masks for a while, and when you um, as things go back to normalcy, or we try to get back to normal, besides like masks, do you see any particularly lasting changes to the way that you do business?
No, I think it's just gonna stick to the same way it is. What's going on right now for a while. You know, um, is one of the things I'm glad I never did was get a brick and mortar. It's a blessing that I got turned down for one brick and mortar I tried to open up about a year ago. because now all the people I know that has brick and mortars, they're suffering a lot because of their what do you call it, the rent and all that stuff, and what do you call it, the commitment to to being open, and all the electricity, they're still paying for all that, and that's one of the blessings that
Yeah,
I.
that's very true. You do run, you do kind of maintain something else on the side though, not a store, but you have your own cutlery line, and it's really cool. Let me share the screen. So here's the website, um, and here up here are the knives. They're beautiful, really cool design. It's the same design as your logo. And like, how did you go about this? How did you design it? Why did you decide to have a cutlery line?
Well, I've always loved knives. Since I was growing up, I've always loved knives and chef knives, and especially the chef knives. All the kitchen knives, and they're very pricey. The ones that you really want, like the Wusthof and all these ankles, and they're like $100 a knife. And just one day I decided to just like how can I put this design, that my logo that my friend helped me with, how can I put that logo on actually on a knife? Because I've never seen one, and it's one of a kind. So I had to reach out to overseas, Japan, all that, and I figured, I found a company that actually does it for me in Japan. This is high carbon Japanese steel, and all the engraving, all the design is engraved right into the metal, which will never go away. And the handle is all ergonomically wood, paca wood, and it's just, I just love it. Just having something that's one of a kind.
Yeah, it's so pretty. It's almost too pretty to use. Like, I know it's silly because you can just use it and wash it, but it's like, I don't just keep it on display, you know?
Most people I know don't use it, and I tell them, use it, abuse it. It's not pricey. Buy two if you got to, one to decorate your kitchen with, and one to use. But it's definitely abusable, and it's good quality. So
That's very cool. So, and you're still shipping those out at the moment, right?
yes, those are all still shipping out. I ran out of the set. Actually, I have a special edition coming out. I'm going to be posting it soon. It should have been out already, but the reason why is because of this whole COVID thing, that all the stuff getting shipped in from overseas, from especially from Japan. They're using shipment more for the PPE mask and all that stuff, more priority
Hmm.
than these stuff. So it's gonna come out soon. I have a brand new knife. It's wicked.
Well, we'll watch out for that. So we're gonna have to follow you on social media basically for updates, which
Yeah.
I'll link at the end of the interview. Um, we can talk a little bit about Pokey, and because we did mention, what Pokey is, and it's a trend. But what is, you want to like just explain what is Pokey, like how is that different from ceviche?
Well, ceviche is. Sorry, I had a phone call. Ceviche is, it's a Latin style of a raw fish, but it's actually cooked in acids, with lemon, lime, or whatsoever. But poke has, it does not cook in acids at all. It's the traditional, the very, very traditional poke. The most traditional poke you can get is from Hawaii. It's fish, sea salt, and seaweed, and that's pretty much it. And then we start adding variations, start adding onions, start having, sesame seeds and oils and all kinds of other seasonings to enhance it, and then, but the most traditional is just the fish, the seaweed, and salt. And that's it.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple, yes. And that's, some things are meant to keep traditional. I think poke is one of them.
And
Other than that, it'd just be a fish salad.
oh, right.
Right.
Yeah, like one of those like sashimi salads with a little bit of
Yes.
what's your favorite way to eat poke? Because I know you have a few ways. You have the traditional style with rice, and you have a really unique way to eat it on your menu, which is nacho style. But how do you like to eat it? Are there any other ways you eat poke besides the way it's supposed to be eaten?
Yes. Well, I have these sauces now. I have a new sauce, which is a wasabi mayo sauce. So in my truck we call it fire and ice. So this is what me and my staff eat. It's the traditional poke, and then we put my spicy sauce, which is the sriracha mayo, and then we also add the ma- the wasabi mayo right on top of it, and we call it fire and ice, and it's really good. It's a must try.
Oh, I
You know,
love
it's on my menu now. I just haven't really worded it on my website and everything. But if you ever go to my food truck, ask for the fire and ice, and it's getting to be the most popular thing right now.
It's a pretty cool name too.
Yes. Right.
Wasabi's great. I love wasabi.
Yeah. So that's what gives the ice, because it has that little coldness from the nose, the nasal part, and then the
Yeah.
fire is from the sriracha. But just a combination of both. And the nachos is the number one seller at the ballpark. Everybody likes ballpark foods and stuff. And I do serve my poke and rice, but when I started making the poke nachos, and first question is that cheese? It's like, no, it's not cheese. It's my sriracha mayo spicy sauce. Um, but it just goes well together. The crunch, it's shareable. The chips with that poke just gives it that, I don't know, just gives it just a unique flavor.
That sounds good. We really miss having you over at Mountain View. Like, your poke was really good. It was the nacho style sounds like a lot of fun to eat. And with the wasabi, going back to the wasabi, and if you're like me, it's allergy season. So if you need to clear your nasal passages, some wasabi poke, fire and ice, right?
Yes, fire and ice, or just wasabi poke. It's bomb.
Wasabi poke. There you go.
Yeah.
So, Chef Ray's on Facebook. Chef Ray's on Instagram. The Pokemon's up here. Check out his Cutlery. And yeah, we'll have to follow you on there to keep up to date on what you're doing. His new menu items, new knife coming out. So yeah, everyone go check it out. Ray,
Awesome.
Thanks for your time.
Hey, you're welcome. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, and thanks everyone else for joining us in this small business interview. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Aloha.